Well, I hope you've enjoyed the study together and even the study this week and that you've grown by it. I know I haven't commented on my lovely lavender office and my lavender look. Really, it's a very light gray. I don't know where the lavender comes from. The camera's confused. But anyway, it's been interesting. Hope it's been a real blessing to you. Um, what we're going to look at now is kind of how you find your place where God has a job, a task, a ministry waiting for you. I hope you understand that all of us are called into ministry. 1 Corinthians chapter 12 is huge. Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10, a verse I haven't used yet in this study. Jot that down and look at that later. I hope that's the right verse. It'd probably be some bogus verse that doesn't relate to anything we're talking about, but I think it's Ephesians 2:10. Great passage if it's what I'm thinking of. Ephesians chapter 4 verses 11 through 16 point out very clearly that we all have a place in the body of Christ and a place to serve, and one that He has actually selected for us. So how do we find those places? I want to give you a couple of things in this video. One thing, I believe that we all have different gifts and abilities and callings, and that we need to recognize those, and those make a difference as to where we are able to serve in ministry. I just think about the parable that is in Matthew chapter 5, verses 14 and 15 especially. It's a parable of the talents. To one he gave 1 talent, to another he gave 2, and to another he gave 5 talents. And a word that a lot of people miss in that passage is this: according to their ability. Now, that word ability, if you want to do a Greek word study on that, blueletterbible.org, I think. It's actually a link in your resources through MDI. But you click on King James and you pull that up, and also just right at the top of all the verses off to the right, you can see where it says the Strong's numbers or something. You click on that, make sure that's turned on, and all these numbers appear. Click on a number, it takes you right to the Greek, and you can do a great Greek word study through blueletterbible.org, I think is what it is. I strongly believe and put a lot of weight on level 1, 2, and 5 ministries. Level 1 is one that I would say is more where you don't have a lot of input and impact in people's lives, things that you can do around the church and help during the week and assist in the office, things like that. Level 2 is going to be somewhat interactive with people, like maybe bulletins or lobby greeters or coffee bar or bookstore, some of those kinds of things. And then level 5 is going to be ministry leaders, small group leaders, things like guest services or connecting point that have a lot of direct teaching and impact with people. So anyway, level 1, 2, and 5, according to their ability. Now, I go to Luke chapter 2, verse 52, to kind of capsulize and summarize this word ability. It talks about in that passage Jesus growing in 4 areas of his life, and essentially those areas, and I want you to jot that verse down, Luke 2:52, and you can go look at this, but those areas are mentally, physically, spiritually, and socially. So the weak link of those 4 areas really determined your level of ability to serve. At what level of service you're able to serve in is maybe a better way to put it. Now this list is one that I've just started working on. I haven't fleshed out completely, but just think about this. Say that socially you're amazing, physically you've got the time and the margin in your life to serve, mentally you understand what you're supposed to do, but spiritually you've only been a Christian for 2 weeks. Does that mean you're going to be an elder? Does that mean you're going to have some big a teacher or a small group leader or a ministry leader? Probably not. So that becomes a little bit of the weak link. Maybe mentally you're great, you understand it, spiritually been a Christian a long time, a mature Christian, and socially you're great with people, but physically you're over the road trucker, and your schedule's weird, and you have things that limit you, or maybe you've got all these kids and these obligations, and you're a salesman, and your schedule's too messed up, and so there's some things that physically will limit you sometimes. Let me just highlight a few things I have under this. Mentally means knowledge or wisdom. Knowledge and or an aptitude in the area of your ministry. Mentally mature. Mentally also refers to passion, what really gets you excited. Mentally also refers to knowledge from experience. Okay, so those are some there. Physically, you're old enough to do ministry. Maybe you've become a Christian, you've been a Christian for 10 years, and now you're in the neighborhood of 19 years old. You're still young, pretty young physically, and as far as eldership and some of those big roles, that's just not going to be anything that you'd be able to do because you haven't had enough life experience. Physically means you're physically able to do the ministry. And physical also means time to do the ministry. It's one thing to say yeah and have all of this in place, but physically you're just out 14 days straight, and then you're back a few days and out. So physically would also involve that. The next one is spiritually. Spiritual age, how long you've been a Christian, but also spiritual maturity, because you can be a Christian a long time and still be spiritually immature. So spiritual maturity, your relationship with God, your commitment to holiness, your knowledge of the Word, your spiritual gift, the spiritual fruit that's in your life. And the last one is socially. Some people are task-oriented and some people are people-oriented. So if there is a people-oriented type ministry, and you're a task-oriented person, then socially that's going to be the weak link that's going to say that ministry is not going to be one that I will do well in, that God's designed for me. If they're people-oriented, they may do better in small group settings versus large group settings. Socially can refer to relationships, good or bad. Where are you or this person socially in relationship? Are they hanging with bad people? How do they act when they're around the work people? Are they one way on a Sunday and a different way with people through the week? How's their relationship with their family, with their wife, with their kids? Is that a weak link? Is that going to be something that's going to prevent them from being an elder? Because an elder has to be someone that can manage their own household, and their household has to be in order. So possibly socially in their household things are kind of upside down and messed up a little bit. What I want you to think about is, of those areas, what is an area that you need to work on? Also, when you think about mentoring people and pouring into them, just think about those areas. I want to raise this person up to the next level. Is it a mental, physical, spiritual, or social issue that I need to address with them? And it's a fresh way to look at yourself and also to look at others if you're wanting to help them. So anyway, hope that's been a little bit I need to go ahead and shut this video off, and I'm going to start the next one that just talks about shape. It's something a lot of people are aware of, but I want to make sure that I just run through it briefly, and then we can go from there. Thanks for your time.